Here we are at Taraco at 3,874 meters above sea level in this beautiful church of Taraco. Here we are with Sydney, that is joining with us today, and Andres, who will be with me in this adventure. And here's my bike. Here's the baggage that I have, and the weather was looking very fine. And then here we start with the first impressions of this beautiful region, and towards the first stop it was going to be the archaeological site of Chiripa, this beautiful place and this beautiful location. Here we are at Chiripa archaeological site, and as you can see, I'm in the precisely archaeological site. Something really interesting about this place is the location. The location is really interesting. Next to the archaeological site, we can find this amazing house, this really nice house, which was a hacienda back in the colonial times, and next to it is the archaeological site. Over there, you can see that little hill, and there's a chapel, and now, what's about this house? This house, it used to belong to the patron. The patron was like the lord, the landlord of this territory. In this case, it was the Iturralde family, and next to it you can see the archaeological site and the museum. There's a chapel. Normally, next to these hacienda houses, there used to be a chapel, which is the pattern in all the high plateau haciendas. And there's the archaeological site, of course, and there's the museum and the house. Here's the gate of the archaeological site, and there's a reference of some archaeological pieces of Chiripa. Chiripa, it was before Tiwanaku and way much before the Incas. Something really interesting is that those eucalyptus trees were planted by the landlord, the Iturralde family, and they are all the road close to the hacienda, and there's the Titicaca Lake. Here we can see one of the things that was found in here. It was a complex of rooms of chiripas with a double wall and in a space between them. That's the main entrance, and they had a sliding door made of reeds, of totora reeds. Now, between wall and wall, there was that space that they used to work for supply storage, probably, and that was the main entrance to the main room. So on all the roomways were basically like you're seeing now: the double wall, the main entrance, the thatch roof, and in some of them they found some bone remainings in there. As you can see, there was little spaces to have access to these spaces. Now we're seeing the main patio, ceremonial patio apparently, and the columns. They didn't carve the stones, but basically were dragged from the river. But this patio had ceremonial uses around the 7th century, and there was rooms. All the rooms that we just saw were around this main patio, and there was people who lived in the entire place, 7 hectares approximately in their prime. And this is how we say goodbye to Chiripa archaeological site. Actually, we are now in the Taraco peninsula, and our main goal is to go to Lakaya village and to go to Pampa Koani. The interest of this trip, it was to see some archaeological sites, some views, some amazing landscapes that, like you're saying now, that's the Andes range, the Royal Range, La Cordillera Real. So we started on dirt road, and our main goal was archaeology and adventure. That's my vein, and that's the vein um, of these kind of trips that I like. Here we are at Lakaya. This is already Lakaya. That's Tupac Katari and Bartolina Sisa, some Bolivian indigenous heroes, and that's the main square of this tiny village called Lakaya. What's interesting here? The Sukacollos. All this plateau, called the Pampa Koani, was covered completely with Sukacollos. This system of channels and crops that used to change the climate of this arid and dry plateau was an excellent solution by the Tiwanako's engineers. Here we are reaching the other side of the plateau. We reached a village called Koani, which is over there. It's already. The idea is to go to a village called Cascachi and from there, Quewaya. In terms of weather, we were really, really fine. As you can see, we have some clouds, but nothing to worry about. Over there is Cascachi already, as Cascachi, and we can see a little bit of our final destination, which was the Quewaya village, which turned into sunset, but really nice weather, really nice temperature, and really nice views over there. For instance, the Titicaca Lake, the reeds, the ambiance, everything is amazing with the bike. You can really feel, you can really experience the place without being invading, without a car. That's the big difference. That's Quewaya. We're already arriving there in here, and it's quite impressive. The views that are quite different from the car. As goes for the night, we chose to bivouac here in Quewaya. There are lodges in here in Quewaya. There's some huts in which you can stay, no problem. But we chose voluntarily to bivouac because that's our style and that was the vein of this really adventure trip. Over there, you can see a little bit of how we did with the bikes and everything. We decided to bivouac in the shores of the lake, Titicaca Lake. We had some visit of frogs, the Andean frog, and this is the Rhinella spinulosa, and that's my jet boil. My jet boil because we cooked our dinner with a nice new jet boil. Next morning we had some company also. There's the village of Quewaya, there's Sydney, and there we found that there was a big fair. Well, not big, big between quotes. I mean, this is the kind of fairs that are really nice in these kind of villages. No tourists, nothing, just real people purchasing some supplies for the village. All these things come from La Paz. And then we started our journey riding and with new views. This today our main direction was to Cumana village, and we're seeing Suriki Island, the island that was visited by Tur Heyerdahl and the Ratu expeditions and the Kontiki expedition. That's the Tikine Strait, the narrowest part of the Titicaca Lake. So basically, what you're seeing is all the minor lake. So then, from there, you can see the road, the main road that will take us to Patapatani. But first, we will visit some Chullpares, some mortuary towers that we can see in here a little bit. The mortuary towers, not even I can make difference, but there's the road, and there they are. Here we are on the Chullpares de Taramaya. What's a chulpar? What's a chulpa? It's a mortuary tower, and these are a complex of mortuary towers that you're seeing. There are different kinds. There's the Inca kind and the Aymara kind. What you're seeing in here is the Aymara kind. Normally, they look in all of them are looking to the east because they were mortuary towers. So that means there was a body inside. They're normally the elite of the civilization that the U.S. between quotes buried there, but they weren't buried. Actually, they were in cestas, which is in baskets, in fetal position, looking to the east. Over there, for instance, you can see the entrance of one of them. This been restored a couple of years ago, but sadly, not a lot of people comes here to visit or to give some maintenance. There's been some projects to preserve this amazing site, but sadly there's not enough interest on tourism. So that's why I'm showing here to you. Please come here. Please share this. That there's some culture and some really interesting things in here. You can see over there the main entrance of one of these mortuary towers, and as you can see, it's kind of destroyed. There's even it has holes in it, which is a shame. And in that space, for instance, it was a body. Of course, that there's not anymore because all of them were robbed many centuries ago by Spanish, by even locals, and so on. So there's kind of a disconnection between the indigenous culture, our indigenous Bolivian culture, and the modern times. So that means that the Aymaras in the current days, they don't appreciate really good these kind of things, which are actually are our ancestors, and all of this is our ancestors. And this was obviously a sacred place. It was a sacred place in the Aymara times. Aymara is pre-Inca also. Over there you can see shepherds. This is one of the things that I like with the bike, because I mean you can see people without interrupting them. With a car, that's different because the car produces noise, produces contamination, but with a bike, you are in the middle of it and you can be one of them. You can see. You don't participate. You're not properly one of them, but you can see without invading their space. And these views, these rewarding views, it's amazing. It's amazing. All the royal range that you can see there. There's the Museum of Patapatani. Inside, we can find the mummy that was found on the mortuary towers that we just saw in Taramaya. That was preserved and it was found with all the clothes and everything, which is really worth to visit it. And there we see the view and the lake. At this point was already noon or close to midday, and it was time for lunch, and that was the uphill that it was we're going to go after lunch. We already passed Kumana village, and we're basically saying goodbye to this really nice region. But before, we have a really nice viewpoint ahead, and over there you can see some places, Pucarani for instance, La Paz, Patapatani, place which we've been, and Quewaya, place which we've been. Actually, in terms of distance, we weren't really that long. The first day we biked like 50 kilometers, and the second day other 50 kilometers. So, and that's the last viewpoint. Nice weather, and it was already close to the end of this journey. And over there you can see the plateau and our final destination, which was a village called Batallas. From Batallas we took a car, a mini bus, a small bus with the bikes on the top, to return to La Paz. So there's the village of Batallas, which it means battles, which is interesting name. I don't know why is it called like that, but over there we can see the range one more time, Huayna Potosí. We can see Huayna Potosí far ahead, and we're close to our final destination. The weather was changing, and once back in La Paz, over there you see the cable car, the teleférico, we see a little bit of the cholets. There's an Iron Man house on that facade of that house, which is amazing. So yeah, with this shot we finish our trip. I hope you enjoyed it. Share it, subscribe, and support this channel. Bye.